when it loads. It's like a gerbil's running in the show. Did it? Yep. So we are live, an hour late, but oh well. So we are on episode 41 of Talking Tech, the semi-weekly podcast from MobileTechTalk. As you can tell, we're an hour late. Today I have with me the same as last week. So we've got Mark as usual, and once again we have Fred.
Hi there.
Since Dom was just about recovered and then damaged his jaw again, and my phone keeps vibrating. He basically ate a sweet that turns out it had a hard shell to it, and he bit into it, and it just knackered his jaw again. Yeah. So Mark took it upon himself again to message Fred, and Fred said yes. So we gave him a little bit more than a day's notice. When did I think Mark messaged you in the early afternoon instead of the late evening this time?
Yeah, that would have been fine, but I had a call I'd arranged for 6:30, so I couldn't get out of it really. So that slowed me down tonight.
Oh well, it's Monday. So we've got a long-ish list of news bits here. There's one I know Mark will absolutely wet himself up when we get to it. But starting off nice and easy, we have the BlackBerry D-Tech 60. If you don't know what it is, it's basically BlackBerry's latest-ish. I'm confused with BlackBerry, to be honest. Device.
Yeah, don't worry. It's the latest phone from BlackBerry that nobody's going to buy.
Yeah, so they did the Priv, then they did the D-Tech 50, and now they're doing a D-Tech 60. It's cropped up on a Canadian retailer called, I believe it's called NCIX, and it will be going for $700 Canadian. So that's when converted, 700 Canadian.
Yeah, which is apparently at $533 US. So that's probably what going to be around what, I don't know, 450-ish.
415.22.
All right. Okay.
That's on a one-to-one conversion, but there's no way BlackBerry going to sell it for that little.
Oh well, no. I mean, there'd be VAT to get thrown on the top of it anyway. But to be honest, it's just
mid-range.
Seriously, BlackBerry, like seriously, really, like have you not learned?
To me, this is going to be I think this is the first phone since they announced that they're closing their hardware business, and they're doing basically the Vodafone thing of just getting other manufacturers to make it, slap a brand on it, and skin it up slightly.
Yeah, which I have no issue with that. I mean, let's face it, it's not like Apple actually makes any of their iPhones. You know, they just give the design to Foxconn, and Foxconn, you know, makes the things. So this isn't necessarily bad or anything, but yeah, that price. I'm sorry, BlackBerry, but no.
I think it's going to be a similar run with the Priv, where that was overpriced when new.
Yep. And in 6 months' time, and nobody has bought any, this will drop in price very significantly. And it's look, BlackBerry, if you want to shift things, you have to make the price cut early. Except you're not going to make a profit on it. I know you like your margins, but
it's not going to work. I think the Priv, when it first came out, was what, 500 quid?
I have no idea.
I want to say more, which I believe is what was the thing that Dom complained about the most on it, was how expensive it was.
It's basically been BlackBerry's problem for the last few years, is they keep launching stuff, everyone says, yeah, it's quite nice. Oh, but it's really expensive.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it, Fred?
Yeah, I just think it's, well, if people, they've announced they're not going to make any more hardware, so people, even if they like it and they want to buy it, they know that in terms of support, what's going to happen. are they going to really be happy with that? That's like Samsung saying, no, we're not making phones, but here's our new phone. People would run a mile. So I think it's dead in the water before it even launches, to be honest. It does look nice, but if they're pulling out the hardware altogether, then no.
Well, they're not so totally pulling out of hardware. They're shuttering their own production. They are not going to be making the things anymore. They're not going to be the ones. Yeah, but basically they're moving to Apple's model where they design shit and Foxconn make it. So
yeah, but even doing that, I just don't see there being a future for them, and not in the smartphone market.
No, I think they'll be back at trying to win their way into business again.
Yeah,
if they do that at all, because let's face it, most businesses are now on iPhones anyway.
yeah, I think BlackBerry still have a place in security and software. And whilst I kind of see them still producing some handsets just to, with their name, the problem with this is they need to sell it cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's far too expensive.
So that's BlackBerry out of the way, because let's face it, not many people care about BlackBerry anymore.
No, it's a little sad, but
I've never owned a BlackBerry, actually.
You never owned a BlackBerry?
Yeah,
Never.
neither have I.
I had one, and it was the BlackBerry, I want to say 83 something, 8520, I believe it was actually. Yes, I had the BlackBerry Curve 8520, which I've just Googled to double check, and they go for about 90 quid now.
Really?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Well, I guess, there was for a long time a core element of people that loved BlackBerry for the keyboard.
Yeah, and I've got to admit, I did like the BlackBerry keyboard on it. I just didn't like the OS on it at the time.
Yeah, but if all you did on your phone is make phone calls, send the occasional text message, but you email.
Yeah.
If that's all and a lot of people will carry two phones anyway, so they might have their own normal phone, and the BlackBerry is just their work phone.
But now I look back at it, this is kind of why I want to play with the Priv, because I kind of like to have a proper keyboard again, but I won't. I won't buy one. I won't buy a Priv. I know I won't. But we'll go to some googly news. So the first one that I believe I put in is the updated support for Android Auto, which, if you don't know what Android Auto is, all it basically is a bit of software in a head unit that you plug your phone into, and it utilizes your phone for the head unit, and they just skin it down, make it really basic, just not to get you too distracted whilst you're driving. So Kia and Mercedes-Benz have just announced support for new models. I could go through and say them all, but let's face it, you don't want to hear me go real through a list. So the link below has them all, and I know Craig just missed out on Android Auto in his company car, but if I'm not mistaken, Fred said to me earlier his car did have Android Auto.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Your thoughts on it? Is it any good?
It's quite strange because the car's got a touchscreen interface anyway. It's a Skoda Octavia. It's this year's model, and it can be quite puzzling when you're jumping between. You want to listen to radio, for example. What tends to happen is if you say you're driving somewhere and you put the details in through Android Auto, and you jump to the radio, and you're listening to some station, it will jump in. It'll still you'll see the screen as a radio screen on your console, and then you'll get the the voice guidance coming through on top. It doesn't seem to reduce the volume. I was doing that.
Plays it over the top.
Yeah, so that was happening tonight actually, because there was a traffic jam coming home, and I thought, oh, it's a bit irritating sometimes. I'd say if you're just using Google Maps and you're going somewhere A to B, something you're not familiar with, it's really good. You get the traffic, it fills the full 7-inch screen. It is really useful. And it's good for music and things. When it's working through the Google interface here in Google Play Music and you're doing maps, it knows to lower the music when it wants to give a direction. And then it just releases it again once it's made its direction. So that tends to work quite well. However, I did have an instance where I was on the M8 and I was coming off the M8 and I was going to somewhere unfamiliar and I needed the Android Google Maps, Android Auto interface to give me the directions to where to turn at this big roundabout, and it completely froze. And it was a bit, it was a bit worrying when you were coming to the edge of the roundabout. And then what happened though, luckily the audio kept going, but the screen had actually the map had got stuck. And that took a couple of minutes for it to catch up. I don't know what happened. So you've got to be aware that it's not perfect. There's definitely some odd things with it. So it could do with a few more stability updates, I think.
Yeah, in terms of updates, has your car ever wanted an update? Has it ever has it ever flashed up updating?
No. I've only ever seen the updates through your phone as normal, because the app resides basically on your phone. So it doesn't. I don't know if there's some kind of prevention for that in case that was to happen. Although I've got my apps to update at any time because I've got unlimited data, I've never witnessed that. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether there must be some sort of software component that resides in the car. So does the app just automatically, if the app's been updated, it tweaks it? Or
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's... See, I want to say you flash it, but that would sound stupid. So I'm not really sure. My first thoughts would be you'd flash it. But
no, it's got to be something really
that's too
seamless.
Complicated. So
exactly, it's got to be something really seamless.
Well, from my understanding, when I got it, you had to have the software activated. The Smart Link had to be activated by the dealership, which I took it in for, and that enables some kind of interaction with the phone, because you've got to plug it in via USB. There's a USB port. It won't work without plugging it in.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just have your phone sitting anywhere in the car and it'll connect.
I guess there's a security thing there.
Yes, and I think it's to do with audio quality as well. I believe that the audio comes direct, because it's over USB, it's much higher than doing it strictly over Bluetooth.
No,
that's what I've heard.
Capable. I would imagine it's more for so that one phone is connected and that's it, rather than because say there's you and the other half, and you've got two teenage children that all make use of the car, and everybody gets in. Well, what phone takes priority?
Yeah, I suppose that would be...
If it was wireless, hence I think, if you've got to physically plug it in, well, there's only one of them getting plugged in.
No, I know what you're saying, but when you plug the phone in, there has been updates to the Android Auto recently, and it's not doing this anymore, but what it was doing, when you plugged the phone in, you had to manually select what phone it was, what device you were connecting. Now, it doesn't seem to need to do that. But there is an option in the settings where you select what device you want to connect, and maybe now, because I'm continually using the same device, it's realized it doesn't need to go through that selection process, so it automatically loads up the standard interface for
so
Android Auto.
would it sway you to say you had two cars, one with Android Auto, one without? Otherwise, the cars are roughly the same. Would you pick the? Would Android Auto make you pick that one?
Oh, that's quite hard to say.
Yeah, because I mean, we have Mercedes and Kia saying they're doing it, and they I think are fairly pitched at different segments of the market. But Kia obviously has its competitors, and Mercedes has its competitors. So say you had a Mercedes whatever versus a BMW with something not Android Auto, would it make you, would it be a factor? Would you care?
Well, there is one thing which hasn't been brought up yet, which is actually very relevant to Android Auto and its functionality, and that is having steering wheel controls.
Yes.
My car, it's not a base model, but it doesn't have the steering wheel controls. It's an SE model, and because of that, I have to touch the screen to get the voice activation to work, like the little voice symbol for search, or to get Android Auto to do anything by voice. And then the microphone, there's a microphone obviously built into the car anyway, but it still needs you to go reach over and press that button. And I don't like that. And I have noticed it's distracting having to touch the screen while you're driving. It's not a comfortable place to be when you know that if your car had the steering wheel functions, is you can use your microphone button on your steering wheel controls, and Google will automatically pick it up, and you wouldn't have to actually touch the screen. You can keep your eyes focused on the road. So depending on which car you're talking about, the difference between two cars, if one of them was going to come with steering wheel controls, then I'd pick that one and have Android Auto on that. Having experienced it so far this year, I would say that's the one failing of the dealership should have said to me, look, you really need steering wheel control to this, we wouldn't recommend it. I'd go as far as that to say that if your car doesn't have steering wheel controls, it's got a good benefit, but you've got to be aware that you are going to be forced to touch that screen a lot more than possibly you would like.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Yeah, so I think the thing with Android Auto is it's still its first generation. They've not really had anything to do or similar before. That's my understanding anyway. So to me, it's still technically classed as a first gen product.
Yeah.
And I think that's where some of the faults with it lie. Whilst we're on the subject of Google, so we've got another one here. So the Chromebooks, if you didn't know, there was some in the dev channel, I believe it was, on a couple of devices. We had support for Android apps. And Google did say when they first did this that it was going to hit more Chromebooks. Well, it has. So these have come on the form of in the stable channel, and I think it goes developer, stable, and then you generic user. And there is a list somewhere, and I've lost the list. But there is a lot more added, and I know again Fred has the Asus Chromebook Flip, and I know he did mention to me earlier that he had you used it?
Yes, when it was in beta developer mode, I had updated it, but it seemed to slow other things down. Because it was maybe a beta build, the browser was suddenly very slow, and so I went back to I've done it twice actually. I tried the developer beta build with the Play Store, and I just didn't really see a tremendous benefit at that time. Installed a few apps, but now that it's on a stable build, I'll need to have a better play with it, because it's now part of the main build. So I will have a closer look at it and see what they've done, but I haven't had time to really go in and have a proper play with it. But I will have a good look and see how it goes.
Yeah, so this is another one of the reasons why I was looking at a Chromebook when I was umming and ahhing what to do when I got the PC. But I just found the link that I had that had all of them in, and there is a lot, like an awful lot. I mean, you're talking from your Asus to your Asus, right down to some of these ones I've never heard of before, Lenovo, Samsung, even going back as far as the Toshiba Chromebook 2, which I know is quite old now.
Okay, just to clarify, these aren't necessarily the ones that it's currently running on. These are the ones Google said it will be coming to.
Oh, these are the ones it is. Oh, these are the no, so I've just gone to a different link. It says these are the Chromebooks that. Oh yeah, so I've misread that.
Yeah, though they have said later this year, and given that there's only like 3 months left of this year,
They're running out of time.
Yeah, so if it's going to happen this year, well, that's reasonably soon. So yeah,
Just a small thing, which I know, which I can guess that a lot of the Chromebook owners will enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have a Chromebook, then this is going to be an update that you probably really want to happen, because, well, yeah, there are millions and millions and millions of Android apps, and some I think would work quite nicely on a baby laptop.
Yeah, one thing I would like to add is I'm not sure what happens if you start using a lot of Google Play apps. You download them on your Chromebook. What happens to all that space it's going to take up? I've got an SD slot, micro SD slot, and I don't know, I've not tested this out yet, if I can transfer the apps, put them onto the micro SD, or
that would be interesting, actually. Thinking
no,
about it.
Yeah, no idea, because if you're going to stick some of the, especially the larger games that are available in the Android App Store, I mean, they can eat, a gig or two. So, and Chromebooks, obviously, with the way that they're designed, they're not really intended to store lots of stuff.
I think they're like 32 gigabytes internal storage, something like that.
I think it's only 16 in the Flip. I think
16 in the Flip. I've seen some 32 gig options.
Yeah. Either way, it's you can eat that quite easily. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm just seeing 16 gigs. I've seen a 64 gig, but that's the 2015 Chromebook Pixel, the one that has the i7 in it. So much to be expected.
the one that costs the same price as like a shitty car. I mean,
yeah, the one that costs like £1,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, but nobody outside Google bought one of them.
They did. I remember they did give them away at one of the IOs. I think it was the IO it was released.
Yeah, but the tickets for that, if I recall, were quite expensive.
Yeah. See, I kind of want the Pixel C.
Yeah.
But that's just me. So whilst we're on the Pixel line, I'm getting good here. Their Carphone Warehouse of all the sites on the internet managed to accidentally publish the Google Pixel, I believe it's the XL version, but they basically revealed their buying page. and it's not. It's quite a beefy device, at least the XL is anyway. If being honest, it's the same as what we've been seeing in leaks. It looks the same as leaks. Like I said, the notice thing here, there is no mention of Nexus name. Obviously, it's now Pixel. And I don't think I'll buy one.
No.
Just because I didn't see a price, but I know they are going to be at least the same price as a 6P at launch, which was 440 quid.
Yeah, certainly all the rumours have been saying it's going to be quite expensive. I don't know particularly where anyone's getting any numbers for or from, but yeah, this is going to be a top-end spec device, and it's going to be expensive like a top-end device.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting and a little bit fun that Carphone Warehouse have made an oopsie and have slapped the details of this on the internet.
Yes, I did think that was kind of I mean, it was silly, but like I said, it's everything we appear that we think it's going to be.
Yeah, although when you say
that's
silly, I kind of, this is different from previous years' Carphone Warehouse have leaked things, because normally the way that things happen is that there are some internal, information that is all supposed to be, NDA'd, and you will get a random member of Carphone staff, Carphone Warehouse staff, taking a little, photograph of an internal, screen saying that listings for, what devices they're going to be selling in a, next week. This, however, actually is proper Carphone Warehouse.
Like
Posted it. Yeah, they accidentally posted this page and made it live. So I do kind of wonder how much of an accident this really was, or is this Carphone Warehouse generating lots of free advertising?
Yes, that would make sense actually.
Yeah,
it's going to be looking at like one beast of a phone, but I've not got I'm going to guess 450. I'm going to go straight in with 450. I ain't got 450 quid to spend on a phone. What's your thoughts on this one, Fred?
Well, I was just letting you all say your little piece, but I love the idea of the new Google phone, but I don't like the look of it from those pictures. I think it looks a bit like an iPhone.
Yes.
And I liked the 6P. I love the look of that. I was actually thinking of getting one, maybe a used one.
Yeah, I mean, the one I've got is used and it's holding up absolutely fine.
Right.
I mean, I do keep it in a Spigen case, which most people probably know by now. I've dropped God knows how many times, and yeah, it's not causing any damage to the phone. Because one thing I was kind of skeptical about with the 6P was the camera strip at the top.
Yeah.
Because in the renders, it looks absolutely huge, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big actually.
No, actually, it looks quite attractive now. I think when I see it. Yeah, I'll have that, please. I think I'm getting bored with my Galaxy Note 5.
Yeah. The other thing to point out is obviously due to Google's like 2-year patent, is how I'll word it. Would obviously the 6P's just taken Android N, which should mean if Google were to buy the range patent, it should get Android O. Anyway, so that would make it a bit more of a viable purchase.
Yeah, because the specs of the 6P are still pretty good.
Oh, I've never had this thing lock up on me, and I've not tweaked with developer settings at all.
Right.
Obviously, the battery's going strong. Bearing in mind this was second hand.
So how long have you had it, Chris?
April, something like that. I want to say.
Right. How long does your battery last?
It gets me through just about a day.
Right. And is that with you using it quite
That's
a lot?
me probably constantly streaming for, when I'm at college, so what's that? 2, 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, 6 hours streaming. Better YouTube on breaks. I mean, it's not something I've just noticed. It used to be a lot better, but I do find it's doing sufficient to get me out at say, what time would I leave? Say 8 o'clock. Leave, and I've probably took about 10% out of the battery by that point, and it would probably get me till I'd get home. So that would be what, 5 o'clock, and it's probably dying about 6. But when I come back, I'll obviously use it more.
Right.
So by that point, you could just whack a 2-amp charger on and a Type A to Type C cable and give it a slow charge instead of a fast charge with the included brick and Type C to Type C cable.
Yeah, I still kind of look at this and find myself wanting user replaceable batteries.
Because that would have been Samsung. That would have been Samsung's problem, easily sorted.
Yeah, because
I agree. Because my Note 5, the battery on that, there's definitely been a difference in the time I've had it, and I've had that must be going on for about 10 months. And
nearly a year.
Yeah, and it's definitely not as good as it was. I think Marshmallow's helped. It's got marshmallow on it, and that came out about a month ago. But it does warm up if I'm using it for streaming YouTube. You can feel it starting to feel the heat. So,
I think that's the thing with most glass-backed phones, though.
I don't think it matters what the material is; they all do it.
I think the glass is the worst, though, compared to some of the plastics.
I don't know. I think it's just because glass is a better thermal conductor than plastic tends to be. I mean, I would prefer that, you know, the phone be metal backed and use the back as a, you know, bloody great big radiator.
Yeah.
So
you can heat your house up.
Yeah, but
in the winter.
You know, well, you know, they make kind of nice hand warmers sometimes.
That's what they say. That's what they say about AMD stuff. Like winter's coming, so it's time to break out the AMD system.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually done that with certain like audio players. There's one in particular that I think is actually way on charge. I mean, actually, I will 2 seconds. I will come back with it because it's worth seeing.
Right. Yeah. So whilst Mark grabs his audio player, I'll discuss quickly the next one because it's not really much to say here. So if anybody uses Action Launcher 3, which is the launcher from Chris Lacey, if you expect a small, I think I've already had the update, a small little update, and it just brings some of the 7.1 features in. And that's not many, but it's a thing. And Mark's back. Anyone think that was expertly timed?
Yeah, well, I was just kind of on the other side of the room. Okay, like, I don't know, see, like, this is the battery.
Oh, God.
Back of thing, right? And, you know, the back comes off. It is user replaceable, so you can get spares. This thing gets so warm, it has a heat vent. That's what the little slats are. Yeah,
oh,
so
wow.
you know, and you know, other side.
Jesus Christ!
Right. So in winter,
is there a fan inside it?
No, there's not a fan. But you know, I mean, it does get warm in use, and the battery life is going to crap on it.
I'm not surprised.
It's a bread warmer.
It does sound nice. But yeah, you know, it's actually really quite nice to have and use in the middle of winter in your pocket, and it keeps your hand lovely and warm.
as well as your leg if it's in your pocket.
Keeps your
Oh,
chips
yeah.
warm.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's a bit ridiculous, but these things, in winter, they're kind of handy. I mean, if you
Living in
live
Scotland.
yeah, exactly. We live. It gets cold in winter. It was cold this morning.
It was very cold this morning. 6 degrees when I went out, and bearing in mind I was going up the hills, and I had to run to work quickly. So I was doing about 70, and yeah, 65, 70, and I just had standard textiles, jacket, trousers. I had my motocross style. It's just a bit thinner gloves. And I was literally sat there freezing my bollocks off. And I got home and realised it was only 6 degrees. So it's definitely a sign the winter's coming, which tells me it's time to switch to the leather gloves. So quickly flick back to the Axon Launcher 3 updates. It's basically all it is little features. Like, for example, the main one I'm seeing is similar to Force Touch, but it's not Force Touch. Is you have the icon, you swipe down, and it'll give you some various options. So, in the example we see is a repeating GIF, call it whatever you like. It's Google Play Movies, and it'll just you swipe down. It says my movies, my TV shows, my wish list. It's like Force Touch. It's there, but I don't see people using it. In all fairness, I know Mark uses Nova Launcher a lot, and I don't know what do you use, Fred, a lot, or are you a switcher in between? You can't quite make your mind up when it comes to a launcher.
Well, I'm just using the Samsung one. Touch Wiz.
Using Touch Wiz. Oh my God! How?
Well, it's funny you're talking about launchers because last night my Galaxy Tab S 10.5, the widescreen AMOLED one they brought out.
God, 10.5 inches with Android, that cannot be a good sign. I did the Vodafone Tab Prime 7. I think, what was that, 10 point something? That was way too big.
Well, what happened with that one, I got an update to Marshmallow, a notification, so I updated it. But when it rebooted, it gave me the option for a different launcher.
Oh, wow.
TouchWiz, or I think it was, I might have installed Nova Launcher at one time. I don't know if it was Nova. But I just clicked TouchWiz anyway, because I'm familiar with it. I might reset the whole thing actually, just to see what it's like when you strip everything back. But so far, it's been not bad. To look at, it doesn't look any different because TouchWiz never changes.
No.
They could put Nougat on it and it would just look exactly the same.
All they do is just update the theme engines for a stock-ish look.
Yeah. So basically, in short, none of us actually use Action Launcher.
I use Action Launcher myself, but I just have it set in just the basic ways, just a little bit of tweaking. I don't like, every time there's a patch or whatever you want to call it, an update, I don't go through and change the thing. I find a way, I like it, I leave it. But I know Dom uses it, and if he was here, I'm sure he'd give his 2 cents. But like I said, it's basically Force Touch. It's basically what Force Touch is without the Force Touch. I probably sound like I'm contradicting myself there.
It sounds okay, actually. I hadn't really heard about it before.
No,
I like the idea of the Force Touch, but I don't have any devices with Force Touch, so I've no experience of it.
Something tells me I've just put the wrong link into. Was I an idiot? Yes, I was an idiot. Yeah. So, I'll change the link for later on, but basically Facebook has now released Facebook Messenger Lite. And if anybody remembers Facebook Lite, all it basically is a lighter version of Facebook, so it also takes up less space. And it works better over 3G connections. And they did the Facebook Lite like what must feel like a year ago now. And I've tried it. It was nice. I could see they were obviously trying to use it on emerging markets because, let's face it, if you're in an emerging market, your data connectivity or your allowance is going to be poor anyway.
Well, not so much that necessarily. They just make the assumption that more users are poorer and not buying so much.
Yeah. So they've released this little app, and there is an APK out for it. I've not installed it yet. I'm planning on doing because I just don't like the way that when you open Facebook Messenger, usually you just got your messages. Now they're putting in birthdays, recents. They're just overcramming it, and I don't know how Fred. I know Fred obviously uses Facebook Messenger because that's how
I use it a lot.
What do you?
I agree with you. I think it's becoming bloated.
Yes.
And cumbersome. And you know the little icon with the face, with the little bubble when you're talking to someone.
Oh, the chat heads.
Yeah. And if you're talking to more than one person, you end up with your screen full of all these little bubbles. And then you swipe them away all the time. And then someone replies and then they bounce back up. And it would be nice to have I don't know, they could make it smaller. I think
I like chat heads. Because,
you like them?
Yeah, because obviously if you have a couple out, when you just tap the last one, the chat head is always the last person you message. So you just tap it, and if you've got 3 or 4, obviously they pop up in a line, and then your message segment, I'll call it, pops up below. I thought that was kind of clever. The problem I have here, that I have with Facebook, is the way it has. There are last 3 messages that I did. Last 3 messages, group messages, whatever. Then it goes favorites, which I don't set these favorites. These are obviously people I've spoken to. Then it goes groups, so unread group messages. Then it has the unseen, which the only thing in unseen is a group message that I've seen twice. Obviously, and then it has birthdays, and it has more conversations, which is then you. And this is the problem. You can hide this stuff, but when you press hide section, it goes, this section might reappear when there's something new. And that literally annoys the living daylights out of me. Because I used to use Messenger for my SMS app as well. Just so everything was all into one. Then they did this. And it just literally just blew everything out. I know, it's literally too bloated. To the point where I very rarely open Messenger on my phone at all now.
Well, you know, Chris, when you were messaging me this afternoon,
Yep.
I actually thought that was through Hangouts.
Really?
And I was looking through my computer and I turned it on and said, right, I'll get back into Hangouts, Chris's message and the links, the notes and all this. And I thought, there's nothing there. I thought, wait a minute. Was it, then I started to think, was it Google Plus? Was it something to do with Google Plus? And I'm like, I looked at that. No, it's not that. And then I thought, it must be Messenger, Facebook Messenger. But they're all starting to look very similar.
Yeah,
don't think.
Yeah, they're trying to get to that material design and all try and look. But like I said, I use Facebook Messenger for my texts because I don't send very many texts anyway. So it kind of seems pointless to have a standalone texting client when I can just literally put it all in the same place.
Yeah, I don't text that much. It's nearly always WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, occasionally Hangouts. So that's really what I do these days.
I think mine's text, Slack a lot, and that's probably a bit of Facebook Messenger and a bit of Discord. That's literally it. Because let's face it, there's that many options. You don't need. Yeah, there's a fly here that's buzzing 10 to the dozen. I was just talking in front of my face. It's like, no, die. It's dead.
All our flies have gone up here. It's too
Oh, we've not been too bad. I mean, but this one was it was probably like the smallest fly I'd seen, and you could just see it going back and forth, and it just landed straight in the middle of the monitor on a white background. So it was just like flick. I forgot where I was at now.
But you're in the tropics, Chris.
No. I'm in Leicestershire. It's a bit warmer than Scotland.
It was absolutely freezing here this morning.
Apparently it was at 4:30 this morning and everything was frozen over outside, but I don't know. I was in bed.
Yeah, I saw the remains of frost when I got up. I saw it.
I got up about, 8 o'clock, 7:30, and I just looked out the window, and obviously it's just where the frost has started to melt and it leaves some sort of frost. It's a very fine, very, very fine frost, which you can just hit your wipers and it'll just knock it straight off. But before we get any more distracted, because let's face it, we get distracted quite easily, we'll stick with the social media trend here. And if anybody remembers Meerkat, now, if you don't know what Meerkat was, it was basically Periscope in a nutshell, but it was, I believe it was released before Periscope, but it's obviously failed. And the main reason it's failed is due to Periscope, because if you didn't know, Periscope allows you to link in with Twitter. And if you, first time you sign in with Twitter, all your followers, all the people you follow, obviously you then follow in Periscope. So you're instantly not searching for new people. Well,
yeah, I think also what was part of the issue is, as Twitter has done with several other things in the past, namely all the things like TwitPic and the frog one and whatever, somebody else comes up with an idea to link into Twitter. Twitter goes, oh, is that a thing people like? Oh, well, we'll do that. And then they block everybody else who was doing it originally.
Yeah, I mean, Meerkat, when they were talking about Meerkat and Periscope when they were first out, obviously everyone would use Periscope and then everyone would always refer to Periscope, but they would mention Meerkat. But the thing was, like I said, with Meerkat, you had to make a new account. And let's face it, people are lazy. People don't want to go around creating account after account after account. So I never used Meerkat, never installed it, so I'm not bothered by it. I can guess Mark doesn't care for live streams.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've used Periscope like once or twice. Yeah, Meerkat, to be honest, I've never heard of it. So
yeah, like I said, it was highly bashed out when Periscope released, and I don't know what Fred's into, and that might sound dodgy.
I've just clicked on the links to see what Meerkat was. I have never used it.
have you ever heard of it?
I hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah, neither had I. So
Point proven.
yeah,
Unless you were a hipster,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. No, sorry, I don't live in a Starbucks. I'm not right. I'm not writing my novel in Starbucks. No, so yeah, I've never.
So I'm gonna get in. We're gonna. This is so gonna get us distracted, but oh well. So I'll just give a bit of background, because when you see this, you're gonna go, "Where did you get that
well,
from?"
no. I say skip this one, do the next one, and then we'll come back to this one, because there's one of them that we're gonna get really distracted on. So let's.
Okay, so
skip
Mark
that one
goes
just
to the Netflix one then.
Okay, well, this was something that I found. Not researched by me, but somebody else, the lovely people over at Alpha, which is basically PC Pro, but they've, their parent company, fucking, Starbucks hipster people. Anyway, the point is Netflix library, specifically their US library, which is one I was always interested in because that had all the TV shows, and the UK one has absolutely fuck all. So yeah, I cancelled my Netflix subscription. But anyway, the Netflix's total library in 2012, so back 4 years ago, was around. Yeah, I mean that's this is getting sort of to the earlier days of Netflix. They had 11,000 shows. How many shows do you think they have now? I mean, it must have gone up, right? Because I mean, Netflix, it's hugely popular. Or they're now in like, I don't know, every country on earth. So I mean, big global thing. Netflix must have gone up, right? Yeah, the number now is 5,300.
So what's that? About half?
That's less than half.
Wow.
Yeah. So whilst Netflix, the company, has grown significantly, Netflix market cap last time I looked was now larger than I think CBS, which is a major American TV network. So Netflix should be a massive thing, and yet its library seems in free fall. So Netflix, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised to hear that. I didn't realise they were shrinking the library so much.
I think it's mainly down to like Amazon Prime and some other companies stepping up as well. That's probably not assisted them too much.
Well, I think also from as a former Netflix user, my issue with Netflix was they seem to be focused on films.
Yes.
They seem to have really focused on it, especially with the signing of that shitty deal with Sony. They seem to be prioritizing movies above all else and being desperate for these big name things. And frankly, I don't give a shit. I want to binge watch TV shows.
House of Cards.
Funny you should say that, Mark, but last night I was binge watching Mr. Robot Season 2 on Google Play.
Oh, wow. That's what I mean, like...
So what, you're the person who uses Google Play then?
Well, they gave me a discount. I got 2 emails from Google offering discounts on TV series, box sets, and a movie. To purchase a movie, I got 25% off.
Oh, nice.
So I used to both of them, and one was actually a day out of it expired on the 30th of September, but it worked. But I managed to get it on the 1st of October.
No, I think this is part of the issue, is that for other services where you're essentially buying Netflix content, a lot of the deals that they seem to have are all timed. I forget the name of the website now, but there was a website that used to keep track of all the things on Netflix that were about to expire, and would sort of tell you, if you want to watch this, go do it now because it expires at the end of the month. So yeah, whatever Netflix is prioritizing.
Yeah, so I've never had a Netflix subscription. I did use a 30-day free trial to binge watch a couple of series into a program, but I literally binge watched that in the first half of the month. So 15 days, I've watched the whole lot. So I had the 15 days look around. Never did go back to it. Didn't really want to. So
that's shocking, Chris. That's shocking.
I'm not a TV. I've not switched the TV on in ages. I cannot remember the last time I switched the TV on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just use online things, but yeah, I find the figure for the UK market is now at 3,241 shows. So you know, what? Just I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is Netflix doing? Like, I mean, Netflix run by morons. Like, can they not sign contracts that say we want show blah blah, and we want that for the rest of time worldwide? Like, we're gonna buy it. We want the rights to show this, but seemingly no. So is Netflix basically on its way to dying, do we think?
Possibly.
Well, at the moment, I'm struggling to watch much on Netflix. I just watched the Narcos, the drug.
Is that because you've run out of shit that's worth watching on Netflix?
Yeah, well, there is a lot of things there that I just not interested in. And I've watched the things I want to see.
Yeah.
There are a couple of series that are Netflix own produced stuff, which I would like to see more of. Like House of Cards was very good.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. Did you watch Jessica Jones?
Jessica Jones? No, I never watched that.
If you've still got it, like, go watch that. It really, actually, very good.
Right.
Really impressed with the way that Netflix did that. It's good. Quite happily binge watch that over a weekend.
I'll have a look at that then. Another one I really liked was called Sense8. It was a really good. It's a sci-fi thing.
Yeah, I remember seeing the name, but to be honest, actually, most of the Netflix original things I've actually never really bothered ended up getting around to watch. And the only reason I actually ended up watching Jessica Jones was because I had Netflix signed in at my parents' house, and it's basically either watch fucking broadcast TV, or it was like, look, let's find something on it.
No.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, fucking broadcast TV. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, seriously, if I see one more episode of fucking EastEnders or Coronation Street, I'm gonna go to Manchester and burn the place to the ground. I'm telling you. Or fucking EastEnders, where it's like the only place in London where nobody commutes, and they all go on about how they have no money except they live their entire fucking lives in a pub. Right? There's the only laundrette in the UK still in existence, because apparently nobody in EastEnders has a fucking washing machine. Right? Yeah,
Stuck at 1985.
Yeah, like, oh god, those fucking things. I hate them. So that was why Jessica Jones. I thought, right, well, you know, I could persuade my dad, who was, you know, in the living room at that point, you know, let's watch that, you know, Marvel stuff, right? Okay, and it was really good. So maybe this is Netflix is gonna just evolve rather than be the one place online with everything. It's gonna be just like any other TV network.
Possibly. So, since we're coming up to an hour and we don't want to go too long, I'm going to throw this one in anyway. So, just give a bit of background. I recently, well, like today, finished my review of the Vodafone Smart Turbo 7, which comes in at £39. Nothing unusual there. So, I wanted to find out what you could buy for £39. What 39 quid would buy you. So I had a quick look on Amazon, didn't really find anything. Tried to go into the Tesco phone shop. Let's face it, Tesco Direct is a waste of time. So I was like, Argos. So I went to the phone section, put in 0 to 40. Let me put 50 in. So I put 50 quid in. And I came across this. Now, the first thing I did when I found this, I put it in Slack. And I believe Mark's first reaction was, I dare you to buy this and review it.
Yeah, because this could be like I mean, this is the phone of the year, right? I'm saying you now.
The name is the best. It is the SIM-free Minions feature phone.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a thing, and it really exists. And oh my god, I dare somebody to buy it. Like, somebody please buy it, because somebody must be buying these things.
I mean, but if you've not seen the film Despicable Me or Despicable Me 2, they basically have these little yellow things in blue dungarees type things, and they're minions. And they've taken a hit with the kids.
Yeah.
That's not me trying to sound and say anything cool, but it has. And I've put a link to the Argos page below. This is basically a baby blue phone with yellow accents everywhere. And on the back, you get a minion holding what I believe is a lot better looking phone than this with minions on it. I didn't know this existed, but I've looked at some of the specs for this, and it's dual SIM.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know
I couldn't understand.
what this is actually like underneath the Minions branding. Because yeah, and just to point out, it's network. It has 2G network capability. Ooh.
Only 2G though, so you can't stick a 3 SIM in it.
Yeah, although bizarrely, it's got 64 gigs of
Yeah, I was just
storage.
looking at that.
Yeah, I spotted that.
And apparently, it has an SD card slot as well.
And I believe it also has a headphone jack.
It does, and it has Bluetooth. It plays MP3 and MP4. Although I don't think the screen is like the super most awesome ever.
1.7-inch TFT panel.
Yeah, and its rear camera, and this could be a typo, is 0.08 megapixels. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe is a typo, and it's maybe supposed to be 0.8. But still, 64 gigs of storage in this thing.
Bear in mind, you can stick a 32 gig. It's up to 32 gigabyte micro SD.
Yeah.
So what's that?
All that means is it supports FAT32, and normally Windows won't let you format things bigger than that. But usually, if you slap a 64 gig card in, you can normally use. You can find a little program that will allow it to be formatted in FAT32, and usually they work.
If not, take the 64 and the 32, combine it together. That's 96 gigabytes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, holy shit. That's like, seriously, this is a 64 gigabyte phone and it's £20, right? How much is a 64 gigabyte iPhone?
Stupid. What, we're going 7 or 7 Plus?
Oh, I don't know either.
Oh, we'll go 7 since it's the cheapest one.
Okay.
Let's buy now. I'm gonna guess about 300-400.
No, it's way more than that.
Okay, so we'll take, because color doesn't really matter. They don't do the 64 gigabyte model anymore.
They don't do any of them in 64.
Nope, I forgot about this. You have 32 gigabytes at £599. You have the 128 gig at £699.
Okay, right. What was the 16 one then?
The 16, there's no 16, 32.
Oh, 32, right, 32.
32 is 600 quid.
Right, so £600 for 32 gigabyte, right? Okay, so that is, you could buy 30 of these Minions phones, right? You could buy 30 of them for the same amount of money, right? 30.
I'll put 2 SIM cards in each.
Right? Yeah,
2
SIM
cards,
cards.
so that's 60 SIM cards.
And you can put, an micro SD card slot in there, right? Okay. The thing has what? 192 hours of standby time, whatever that is.
So if you're a drug dealer, we found the phone for you.
Yeah, I mean, you could, like, seriously, you could buy 30 of these things. That's like,
and somebody will.
One for every day of the month.
Literally, if you are a drug dealer, this is the answer, because no way on earth are the cops going to do anything when you whack this out, besides laugh at you.
Yeah, I mean, this is the craziest thing ever. I'm just sitting there like, seriously, how does this have 64 gigabytes in storage?
Do you want to go into the best part of this phone? The reviews.
Oh God, they're
4.7 out of 5.
hey, well, that's pretty good.
There's one here. Brought this phone for my 8-year-old son. Very basic phone, but that's what I wanted. Works perfectly. Battery lasts long. This is the one that makes me laugh. Minions great. My son really wanted this for his birthday. My son loves it. Obviously battery. But looking.
Here's an awesome review by Anne from Merseyside. Right. The phone is good, all in caps. That's the review. The phone is good. Oh.
I'm just looking through them because it's absolutely hilarious. My kids love this phone.
Yeah, so this seems to be like having given for kids.
Hang on. I found the best one. I found the best one yet. The phone is very nice and have a funny sounds.
So no, there seems to be lots of 7 and 8-year-olds getting mentioned in this. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, here's one that's different. This was bought for my 77-year-old father, and he loves it.
Even his pudgy fingers can use the keys without a problem.
Yeah. So there you go. It's not just for small children. This is weird. Like everybody, like 77 or lots of 7-year-olds.
The other thing I will point out is the battery appears to be user replaceable. So if it goes up in flames, heck, you've not got to worry about it. You can just replace the battery. Or even better, it's that cheap you could just buy a new one anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why buy one when you just buy 5 of them at a time?
That's good for the drug dealers. Just takes the battery out and throws it away.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, just.
And all that 64 gigabyte storage that can keep all his contacts on there.
Yeah. Or you know what this would be great for, like for James Bond, because if nobody is going to think you're a spy with a Minions phone. Yeah, 64 gigabytes to store classified Russian secrets on, right? There you go. This should be James Bond's next phone.
Right. I think we just about recovered from that one. I think.
Yeah, this is just like the most
silly.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that this exists or if I despair that this exists. But just like, wow, I mean, this is so unexpected. Yeah.
Right, so since we're pushing for time and I need to shoot, I'm going to skip the current devices straight out the window. Upcoming reviews. So we have the one more triple driver in-ear headphones. I believe that's a model thing.
Earphones. These ones.
Ooh, nice case.
Oh, the box on them is like insane and just crazy. I mean, it comes on a fucking like shirt clip and shit. So those.
All right. The Ludio TS3 Bluetooth speaker, which I believe Mark showed us last week.
Those things.
That thing that Fred liked the sci-fi look of.
Yeah, I still like it. They're really
big,
different. They're just.
Is it heavy?
No, not really.
What's it made from?
Plastic.
It's plastic. Yeah.
Well, it does say they have a metal frame, but I mean the chromed bit on the front is just kind of chromed plastic.
Right. So
who makes it?
Bludio.
Right.
Yeah, random Chinese company you've probably never heard of.
And the compressive case for hi-fi earphones.
Yeah. Oh God, what did I have there? 10 minutes ago.
That's Wally can't find it.
Boxes everywhere.
Yeah, this little thing. So the
Oh, I like that.
little earphone case.
Oh, that looks good.
You know, it's got like little rubber seal, like for sealing it. It's weather resistant.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't think they want to say it's waterproof.
Oh, it's good for the Scottish weather.
Yeah, it's quite a nice little thing, and it's very, you know, it's very sturdy. I mean, short of you deliberately like trying to stamp on it or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not
if
breaking that.
If you dropped it on a bus or a tram, survive okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's very sturdy. I mean, you know, it would take more damage than you would. You know, if you've got this in your pocket, if it gets broken, you're probably dead, so you don't care.
So,
but yeah, those are coming, and there's a bunch of other things, including there's another case that I've had sitting for a while, and a bunch of impedance adapters, and we have this little thing also from
hi-fi.
Yeah, I don't know if they're pronouncing it I-Fi or IFI.
Who knows? So just to wrap it off, so as usual, the website is mobiletechtalk.co.uk. Twitter is @MTTFeed. Instagram is MobileTechTalk. Facebook is MobileTechTalk UK. YouTube and Google Plus, you just search MobileTechTalk. You know the score now. We're not big enough. And Patreon, of course. If you give us a little bit of money, we can make some little bit better shit for you. Once again, thanks to Fred for joining us again. And if Dom has another sweetie, he'll probably be here again next week, no doubt.
Thanks very much for having me on.
And thank you, as always, to Mark for, again, putting up with me for, what, 3-4 weeks now? God only knows.
Yeah, it's fine.
So we shall be back next week. Who with? I do not know.
Yes. In theory, Dom should be back. But yeah, Dom seems to be very easily broken.
With a little sweetie that has a hard shell.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah.
But anyway, I'm Chris. That's been Mark. That's been Fred. And we should, well, I'll see you next week. And I can't find my mouse. Where's it gone? There it is. Bye.